always feel so tired. I was gonna say, even if I've slept enough, I always feel like I always feel like I look tired. I don't know. I was worried for a while last year that I had sleep apnea because I would wake up as if I did. Recently, I mean, with the weight loss recently, I don't really know how much I've lost, but I know that I have lost weight. Uh, at one point, I want to go and I want to get the scale that I have in the basement, but I don't know where it is because my grandmother moved last year, and a bunch of her stuff is in my basement. Anyway, that's I should have vlogged that whole experience because there was a lot of I kind of regret not documenting that in like a series of videos because me and my mom, we had to go through a lot of work, and it could have been fun to look back on. But anyway, my grandmother moved to, I mean, she's okay, but she's at a retirement home at the moment. Anyway, so all of her stuff is in the basement, or not all of her stuff, some of her stuff, a bunch of her books, and somewhere in that mess is my scale, which I received from my grandfather many years ago. Anyway, at some point I want to start weighing myself again, just to make sure that I don't that the weight don't creep back up, and that I can actually keep the weight this time and not gain it back, whilst I still feel like I have more to lose. But anyway, what I was going to say is I actually caved in yesterday, and I bought some ice cream, some Snickers ice cream, which is one of my favorites, and it just turned out to be okay yesterday. Like I wasn't really even that, I didn't even enjoy it that much yesterday. But I think one reason why I've lost a little bit of weight is because everything has become so absurdly expensive. One of these packets with 6 ice creams I think, I mean, since I'm writing down my calorie intake now, I know for a fact that the whole box was 1072 calories, and that cost 50 crowns, 50 Swedish crowns, and I don't know exactly what that is in like American dollars or British pounds at the moment because it kind of fluctuates. But years ago it used to be half that price. I mean, I would not have bought them yesterday if I knew that they were that expensive. I mean, 30 for me is like, okay, 32, 33 maybe, but 50. So the fact that everything is getting more expensive, I think is, I've just been forced to buy less of it. Like I look back on when I was in my teens, and I would go to the store. I would buy like a bag of cheese curls, a bag of these peanut snacks, and I would buy peanut butter snacks. I would buy Pringles, and I would buy all this candy, and 4 liters of soda, and I would buy everything. No wonder I was fat, first of all, but I also don't know how I could afford everything. I mean, it's so insane how things have changed. I mean, this was like 15 years ago now, so obviously things would have changed since then. But even in the past 5 years, like, it's man. Sometimes when I'm outside and I'm noticing people looking at me, I realize that they might be looking at this shirt, which sometimes make me feel kind of childish for wearing this. I just thought this was funny a number of years ago, so I bought this. But now I haven't updated my wardrobe in so long, so I only have a limited amount of shirts left. I don't really like it very much anymore, but I do, since I am losing weight, like I said. I have these shirts in here somewhere that I would like. I've been trying to get down enough so that I can get into the shirts eventually. So I have this one, which I like, Portishead, and these 2 Sweden Rock shirts from 2014 and 15. And this one I love. I had this one years and years ago, and then the print just washed off, eventually. So I bought a new one. It looks like this one is washing off as well, but I don't remember, but I assume that's the design. But yeah, that's a 2001 Space Odyssey reference, but these eventually got to be too small for me, so I haven't been able to wear them. And the last one, does anyone get this reference? Vanderlei Industries, import-export. What does it say down here? I mean, okay, this is Seinfeld, but apparently I'm not big enough of a fan to understand what this refers to. Anyway, I can't even make the word out. This one. Yeah, so I wanna get into these eventually. I don't know, maybe I even can get into them now, but I don't. if I try and if I can't get into them, I'm gonna be slightly discouraged. So I want to wait for a little while longer before I try. Just a couple of years ago, maybe last summer, I kept killing flies. Sometimes I have really bad problems with flies, and sometimes I don't. Very illuminating content, this. My old enemy, these awful steps. They look worse in real life, believe me. But I haven't been up here since I was probably 10 kilos heavier, maybe. Again, I don't weigh myself, but I suspect that these steps are going to kick my ass nonetheless. That was actually better. Oh, my mouth is so dry. I should have brought water. Anyway, that was easier than before. Yeah, I should have brought water because I take this medicine for hyperhidrosis, which means that you sweat abnormally much, which is difficult to deal with in the summer when you're standing in line at the store and stuff like that. So the medicine helps, but it also makes your mouth really dry sometimes. So at times like these, I wish I had brought some water. The weather is just perfect. 9 p.m. Just the absolute. I couldn't think of a better weather to be out and taking a walk in. I don't even want to go home. I'm just enjoying this so much. It's so nice to be outside. Here is my old school. In that building over there, that's where our classrooms was, most of them, and here actually also, but for the most part here. And this is when I struggled a lot with social anxiety and isolation and stuff like that. So I mean, a lot of it has changed since then, but these main buildings, they still look the same. They are just too fast, man. Or I'm slow. I gotta make sure to not keep, doing this, but I did buy soda. I usually buy more soda in the summer because it's so quenching and nice, but usually throughout the rest of the year I don't really have a craving for it. But this Three Hearts is a local brewery. They really make the best soda. Like, it's not because I'm a local patriot. It's just the Three Hearts, sodas, they tend to be the best. Yeah, I don't have a lot of food at home. I've tried to eat the things that I have because I had a bad ant problem last year and I don't want to have to throw out more food. I don't want to have too much unnecessary food because I had so much sweet stuff last year and it just became a big hassle trying to get rid of the ants. So I just don't. I've tried, and for different reasons too. But it is remarkable how much of an effect something so silly can have on my psyche or on my mind or my behavior, whatever. Just the fact that it was so much trouble, so much work last year trying to get rid of them. So, but anyway, there's other reasons too why I try to keep the food to a minimum.
Don't get close to me, you fucking moth. Stop it.
Well, of course it is gonna get close now that I'm filming it with the light. Well, the finals of the Swedish quiz show that I like watching, which a lot of people don't like, is completely even, leading into the last category. So that's exciting.
Well, this guy who won, I mean, it really was even, but he is always the guy who people think is gonna win, no matter who he's paired up with, you know. I mean, this guy with the long hair. He's usually paired up with his wife, but this season has been a bit different. Anyway, so no big shocks, but actually a surprisingly exciting finale. Well, so you might have noticed that I've uploaded the old videos from 2009 and before this channel, the stuff that I had, because I wanted to upload that. I have to look through it, you know. There was one part here that I mentioned, like an old friend of mine who had a band called Ancient Mist. And I thought about this a few months ago, like, what was the band called? I couldn't think of it because I wanted to look them up, but I could not think of the name of the band, so I just had to let it go. But then I find in this video that I actually talk about it, so now I was like, thank you, you know, past me, Ancient Mist. I YouTubed it. It's available still. Awesome. I'm gonna have to look this up just briefly now. Oh, and I remember this Sear guy. I remember he commented on the video that I uploaded. This was a shout out video, and I remember he said, like, my friend, thank you for the subscription. I remember feeling really cool when he commented on my video.
Inte jag om det. Nej, det gör det inte. Nej, det var...
I don't know what it is. If I want to crack my back, like I can very easily stand on one leg on the right side, but on my left side, I struggle so much with balance. There's something wrong with my hip. I've had that problem for a long time, so I can't really do anything standing on one leg, bending down on my left leg. Well, anyway, it was nice. I got a tripod. I don't know if I mentioned that it was my birthday tomorrow. Maybe I did somewhere. But yeah, I didn't really ask for much. I wanted a I wanted a tripod because I'm filming more again, and the one that I had from before is not really functioning properly. I asked for boxers and socks, and then I was, you know, I got some cookies to bring home. So I didn't really ask for much, but I'm really happy with those things, and I'm gonna use these for my burpees. They are, I needed some better socks, and I'm gonna use this to film with. I have a couple of ideas that I want to try and use this for, so we shall see what happens. So I'm sitting down with the editing again, and I just want to show you, I never did this. I don't think I ever talked about this, but over the years I would always struggle, or not struggle, to me it was like a sense of being happy with, I mean, I wanted to be happy with the things that I made. So this is something I still do. I'll show you an example. So this is a clip from 2016, and I'll just play this transition here.
I guess there are different kinds of it, whatever. But anyway, let's see if that's...
So that's not good, right? There's too much of a jarring jump between that and that. So there's too much silence to me.
Anyway,
so that needs to be removed, like that needs to be removed, I think. Let's see.
let's see.
Yeah, so I think that's... Now I'm editing through... I'm looking through the phone while I'm editing. That's not the most efficient way. Let's see if that's better now.
Anyway, let's see if that spider is...
So that to me is clearly better, because if I do that like 100, 500 times in like a really long video, which this is going to be a part of, I feel like I'm going to cut down several minutes, right? And I just feel like, well, anyway, to me it's stuff like this that I always obsessed about, that maybe it's not worth it ultimately, but to me it is.
But anyway, let's see if that spider...
So it's a bit still kind of not a perfect transition, but now I'm happy, right? Now I can move on. you know, you don't really get sick of certain views. It is a very nice view from my mom's apartment. I have been celebrating my birthday today. My grandfather, he was a bit tired, so he left a little bit early. But I am gonna walk home later on because I need to move this body. Just something that, I mean, at this point, like accepting a ride instead of walking, it's like, I really don't want that. I prefer to walk actually. But yeah, probably will leave shortly after my mom arrives and have a nice walk home in the sunset. But yeah, that's the gifts I received. And 24 hours later, but just like a minute or two for you, here we are again, one day later, after another celebration. Let's do the crack again. Let's see if it sounds better this time. Like, I don't know if you can really hear that. It doesn't really sound that impressive. Anyway, I think that's more like my hip or glute area.
My hair looks really, really awful. I haven't cut my hair in so long. If you can't tell, maybe you literally can't tell, I don't know. Just now on my way home, I was reminded of a few days ago when I went home and I was crossing the same crossing, the same like zebra crossing or whatever. No lights. And it was nobody around except for me and one lone car that was approaching on the opposite street, on the opposite path or direction. So I had to cross. You waited for the car to stop. It stopped, so I walked. And something that I used to think about a lot, and still do apparently. I mean, I've overcome my social anxiety many years ago. I don't consider myself having that. This is something I talked about with therapists many years ago. That, you know, I have really bad, or you have really bad social anxiety, man. That's exactly how they said it. No. I don't struggle with that anymore. I don't struggle to run errands and to be out in public. But sometimes I realize that I still have certain hang-ups. I was crossing the road and the car stops, so I'm like, all right. You know, I'm such a shy person and I don't, you know, anyway, so I feel like people think I'm rude sometimes. I try to maybe nod but maybe they don't pick it up. Anyway, so I just start thinking that I don't know how to walk and I don't know where to look. And I became so self-conscious as I was crossing this road that I must have done something weird because somebody in the car laughed. And of course, in my head, this is something I struggled a lot with in my teens, which I realized is a long time ago. But apparently sometimes I still do, because I realized that I thought they were laughing at me. And realistically, I know that likely they weren't, just as when I was a teenager and if I heard teenage girls laughing or something like that, I thought to myself, oh, they're obviously laughing at me, right? Knowing somewhere or deep down that realistically they're not laughing at me, but that's the first thought that enters my mind. And similarly now, that's the first thought that entered my mind. I must have done something really weird. I must have, in my you know, you know, what's the word? In trying to look casual, I felt I must have done something that looked funny. I must have stumbled, or I must have done something silly with my tongue or something. I don't know. So they laugh in the car, and obviously I think they're laughing at me. And then I can't let that go. I'm like, really, man? You gotta. I mean, some of these hang-ups, they are what they are, but sometimes it takes such a small thing for me to like. And I still remember it several days later. Obviously, well, it's not that it's been that long, but anyway. So you know, sometimes shit like that happens, and it just kind of drags me down, and you know, the frustration of not kind of knowing if they were laughing at me or not. I don't really care. Do I? I don't. I want to say I don't care, but anyway. So that happened. Speaking of hang-ups, today was my birthday. I am 32 years old. 3 years ago when I turned 29, my grandfather, he reminded me of the fact that, so next year you turn 30, he said. And I mean, I knew this, but it was still kind of like being hit with some realization that, oh shit, I'm actually getting old. Funnily enough, at 29, I felt older than I do at 32. Part of my mind, I've been able to work through these things and look at them from a certain perspective. I don't necessarily think 32 years is old. I don't really think 42 is old. It's just that it's the oldest that I've ever been, but it's also the youngest that I will ever be. So maybe the famous glass half full, empty kind of thing, maybe I've been able to work on that a little bit in that respect. But I don't know. I do feel though in 3 years I'll be 35. Just a few years until I can kind of say that I'm middle-aged, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, okay, things are moving too fast. I feel like I was just 19. How did this happen? But this is the way it is for everyone, and it's fine. Actually, I wanted to give a couple of music recommendations. I listened to Beth Gibbons' new album, Lives Outgrown, and it's really interesting. Like I love her album Out of Season from 2002. She was the Portishead vocalist, but she has been very selective with the projects that she has done and the appearances that she has done and so on. But I was really happy to find out a few weeks, months ago, whatever, that she was gonna release a new album. The song Mysteries from Out of Season is just one. I love these understated songs with quiet melodies that kind of come off as eerie or ghostly somehow, which that song has those exact qualities. The new album is, I haven't listened to them back to back, but I really love both of them. I also listened to a band yesterday called Crippling Alcoholism. Very uplifting name. The record is called Love from a Padded Room. It's quite bleak. It reminds me of some other bands like Daughters. There were so many bands that people were referencing, and I was like, yes, I suppose it reminds me of those. But also, I don't know what it's like a concoction of so many things. I don't really know what to make of it. So I need to listen to it again. It could be one of those instances where it's an impressive first listen and a disappointing second listen, or it could be that it's like a frustrating first listen but a rewarding second listen. I mean, usually it tends to be either of those two things for me. Sometimes it's like it just builds, I suppose, but the first listen of that album anyway was really grabbed a hold of me, and I would really want to listen to it again. I might do that today. Speaking of hang-ups, I mean, I realized that I'm filming myself now again. It's nice to be able to, having moved past this giant hurdle. Sometimes I feel like I'm not enunciating and people can't hear what I say, so I'm repeating it because I was like, am I sweating? No. I am sweating, but I thought that this was a dark. Never mind. I'm sitting here without the fan because I don't want. I have had it on before, but it's kind of loud. I don't want to have it on all the time if I'm talking. So because of that, I'm sweating. So now you know that. But anyway. I've always had these hang-ups. Speaking of hang-ups, I've always struggled over the past several years when I haven't been happy with the way I've looked because I gained weight, which was the main reason really why I didn't want to be on camera. Because when you lose weight and you're really happy with that, it might sound vain, but it felt so good to lose weight in my late teens, early 20s, and then when I gained weight in my mid-20s, and when I was in my late 20s, I'm not quite sure what I weighed, but I mean it was recently, but I may have been my fattest last year since I lost the weight. I don't really know because I haven't looked in mirrors, I haven't filmed myself, I haven't looked at photographs, I haven't weighed myself. And unfortunately, one of the main reasons why I typically stayed behind camera for these previous years, even if I did film, is because I just could not bear looking at myself. I've carried this self-hatred for so long in many different ways, and when it manifests itself physically, and if I somehow attach what is happening to my fucking face with feeling like a piece of shit, which I've done, then if I'm looking at my fat fucking face when I'm editing, right, it just reminds me of a fucking piece of shit I am. So unfortunately that has affected me so much over the past several years that I've tried so many times to move past this and to film myself, or to just vlog and just get over this, because I know how happy making videos make me feel. That's why I've done them over my life, you know, throughout my life. It's been so important to have a camera. I've had the luxury of having some people who have wanted to listen, and to feel like if you have, you know, if you have turned to a camera and to the internet, and some people have actually found those videos and they listen and they comment, it's a huge boost, and it's a validating feeling, of course. But more than anything, it's company. It's something you. I don't know. I'm gonna move past that one. But I've tried to film myself in recent years, and always failed, because the hurdle that I was trying to get over was always so significant, and I couldn't get past filming myself, or I couldn't do it. So I removed so much stuff. I know for a fact that I've filmed stuff. I filmed myself. There was once where I was trying to do a weight loss vlog, and I was trying to be all transparent about my struggles and difficulties, and I sat like this, like I'm doing now, and I'm still not, I don't really, I'm still getting into looking at myself, in all honesty. Like, I still, you know, every time I turn on the camera, I'm like, I don't really like it, but I'm getting used to looking at myself again. This sounds very sad, but that's the way it's been, and I'd like for these videos to be honest. So when I did that video a few years ago, in 2020 maybe, and I just know that I looked in the mirror at first, and then I turned on my phone. I tried to make the video, and I just couldn't believe how fat I looked, and what have I done to I didn't realize it. Like, I hadn't looked that bad since I was a teenager, for a fact. I mean, I know that. So I just deleted the videos, and I've tried making videos more than that one time, and I have a few of them left, but unfortunately I don't have anything from 2020 or later. Like, the latest video that I filmed that I never shared was from 2019, which is going to be part of an upcoming project. But yeah, so unfortunately that's been the case. Let's see where I was going with that. Yeah, but one thing that I still have to work on is looking at pictures of myself, because I can kind of control the angle here. I can, you know, I can decide what's being filmed. I wouldn't. Well, I don't know. Whatever. But just looking at myself. Looking at a picture of myself from a different angle, or something that somebody else took when I wasn't prepared. Like, I feel like such a hypocrite, because what I did for so long, for so many years, was I liked putting the camera in people's faces. Not too much, not with people that I wasn't comfortable with, but with my close family members. I liked doing that, because I liked the idea of saving these things on my hard drive, and then looking back on them many years later, which is exactly what I've been doing now. But some of the time I can notice that some of these people are sometimes a little bit annoyed that I'm filming them, or then they're not entirely happy that I'm putting the camera, shoving the camera in their face. So for these past few videos, like, I did film my dad. He's pretty much, I don't think he has a problem with it. I think he likes that I'm doing this anyway. But for the most part, like, I've tried, I haven't really wanted to do that. So when I met my cousin 2 days ago, I would have loved to film a few clips with her, but then, you know, knowing her, if I asked her, she would have said yes, and maybe she wouldn't really feel like it really, but she's too nice to say no, so I just felt like I'm not gonna ask. But I would love to make a video with her. I know it's been so long since I made a video with her, but I would love to do that eventually. But yeah, but overall I haven't really wanted to film too much. I've wanted to put the camera aside when I'm with people and mostly just film myself, because I have felt like a hypocrite over the years, not wanting people to take pictures of me, and then I'm the one who's filming them. But then again, I don't know. One thing that I notice, I mean, because I always agreed for the picture to be taken, but I don't really want to look at it for some reason. It is strange, because I'm looking at myself now, and I mean, whatever. I've somehow gotten past that initial difficulty of accepting the way I look. I don't. Yeah, but looking at pictures of myself, okay, but so when people ask me to smile for pictures, that's something I struggle with so much. I feel like Chandler from Friends in that episode when he can't smile for pictures. Like, I'll smile, I have no problem smiling if something is funny, or if I'm trying to be approachable, whatever. But when somebody asks me to smile for a picture, I just freeze up and I just can't seem to smile for a picture. I don't really have any problems with if somebody turns on the camera, I guess, and just films something for historical reasons. Yeah, I suppose so. But if somebody asks me to pose, anyway, these are very jumbled thoughts. I did have a few thoughts on my way home that I thought that I would try and document here. Some of them I feel like I got out, but some of them are yeah, kind of jumbled. And now I can see that this clip is 8 minutes long. So I'm gonna turn this off. I am gonna watch The Jinx. It's like 3 a.m. Early Monday morning. I'm just gonna stay awake, and then I'm gonna go to the store when they open up, because I'm not gonna be able to sleep. So I'm watching The Jinx part 2. It is kind of funny. Every time I watch an HBO show and you hear the I always, in my mind, because I've been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm so much, so I keep hearing the music. So when this show starts, in my head simultaneously I can hear the music for Curb, which is kind of problematic, because it's a bit of a different tone in this one than in Curb. But anyway, that's always the case. Whenever I see something HBO, it's like I don't know. I don't know that I feel that I'm feeling the Jinx. I might finish it later, but it seems like they have you know, extended it to 6 episodes for maybe no reason at all. But I don't know. I'm on episode 3, but I decided to stop and watch a Swedish show called 1,000 Brothers instead. I haven't seen this in a while. But this show, I remember watching this as a kid, and then rewatching it in my teens. And I think when I rewatched it, that's one of those words that I had to say a lot over the years, and it was always a tongue twister for my Swedish mouth. Watched, especially, yeah, watch, but especially watched. That I just can't say it. Every time I say it, it sounds so stupid, unless I try to enunciate. If I just say it casually. So yesterday, well, now I'm stumbling on other words. So yesterday I watched this movie. Well, this I remember watching this in my teens, being so moved by it, and finding something in it that I hadn't found in anything before at that point. Not in that way. I remember being really moved by this in a way that I hadn't been before, and I think that was upon the rewatch. Well, I've been awake all night, but I'm going to the supermarket. It's probably like maybe 3,000 steps away, so it's not that close, but I just need to move for a bit, even if I haven't slept in I don't know how long. Not too long, 18 hours maybe. No, less than that. Yeah, it's fine, it's fine.
And again. Third time's the charm. Salmon, apples, red onion, garlic, crushed tomatoes, bulgur, and freeze bags. Nasal spray. I have to show ID for this at the register. Very strange. It is, you know, you have to be 18 to buy this, but I am well over 18. I remember once when I was at the liquor store. We have a monopoly on hard liquor and anything stronger than 3.5% in this country. And when I was 20, which is the legal age you have to be to buy that stuff, I once or twice did not have to show ID. But 12 years later, I have to show ID for nasal spray. This is the very kind stuff as well. There's this one nasal spray that I used years ago that is much more aggressive, at least for me. So this is like, really? ID for this? It's just interesting to see how different personnel have different judgment, I suppose. Is that a Venom poster? It looks like a Venom poster. Venom is a, you know, very old kind of thrash black metal band. It reminds me of this Oliver poster spotted in The Sopranos. And this video was actually uploaded by me 13 years ago on a different account. So that's the same clip again 13 years later. Venom, Oliver. Venom, Oliver. Venom, Oliver. Ketchup, 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 ketchup. Anyone get that reference? I am so sick of these kinds of thumbnails where some I mean, this is a legit climber and I do like him, but a lot of the time you'll have like influencers visiting strongmen or powerlifters or something, and they always have these thumbnails where they want to highlight the size difference, and it's just getting so fucking old. Please stop. Well, they're not gonna stop because they're successful videos, but holy shit. When you notice a trend on the thumbnail thing, you know, a thumbnail trend on YouTube, you can be sure to see it for more than you would like in the coming years. Last time I said that I don't want to show my sweaty face, but I guess I changed my mind. Always at the end of a cardio workout when I'm doing like body weight exercises, I always try to do the last couple sets like unbroken to really kill myself in the end. It's like the equivalent of when I would ride the stationary bike at the gym. The last minute I would like speed up the or I would increase the level, and I would just you know, unleash everything I had. So I ended up sleeping about 4 or 5 hours. Then I went to after not having slept for 20. Then after that I went to town, shipped a bunch of things to buyers, and then I saw my dad actually randomly. I never run into my dad like that, but he was also posting something today. And then I haven't done much. I have about 9,000 steps today, or 10,000, and now I did like 220 squats, 110 burpees, 110 jumping jacks, so not the best. I really feel tired today. It could be the heat, it could be the sleep, it could be that I haven't eaten enough, but I did eat quite a lot over the weekend. Well, I ate more than I do normally because it was my birthday weekend, and that's typically what happens when people offer you nice food for your birthday. But yeah, so yeah, I feel like I should have had more energy today after all that food, but oh well. But I guess that's it for this vlog. The Crippling Alcoholism. I don't like the band name, but Crippling Alcoholism, their song, their album Love from a Padded Room, really fucking great. I've listened to it 3 times now. There's some really great line deliveries. Fentanyl and fine dining. Fentanyl and fine dining. That's a pretty wild line. Some really great lyrics. It is quite bleak, but there's some real beauty in the music as well.
fucking amazing concoction of all kinds of genres, gothic rock and post-punk, post-metal, post-rock, yeah, noise rock. I don't even know exactly how to categorize it. It's just unbelievable. So that's a recommendation. I mean, I'm sorry to be that guy, but I genuinely can't see where the lens is. Again, I haven't been filming with the camera like this for more than a few weeks, but because I'm looking at myself and I can see that I'm not looking inside the lens, obviously. That's the problem. When I would film with the cameras over the years, I mean, I would look into the lens. But now in these recent videos, I feel like they feel less personal because I'm not looking into the lens. But anyway, whatever. All right, that's it. Thank you so much once again. These videos they're fun for me to do. Yeah, that's all. Thank you very much.
I mean, I don't really know about you, but for me, I tend to prefer rather sophisticated content. I have a wide taste in things, but the sophisticated content is usually where I get the most out of.